named in association, like you see, their kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet.
That vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. Oh, this got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records.
Cowboy Carter. Beyonce.
Started to receive the 16, but he got 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go prior to that, 1.
50 Cent and Eminem are finally linking up, and they're not holding back. They're calling out Jay-Z and Beyonce for all kinds of shady business.
Trey Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell it.
From allegedly ripping off black artists to buying their way into awards and crushing anyone who gets in their path. According to 50, Jay-Z is still out here trying to mess with his money moves. And Eminem, he's been dropping warning signs for years about how the industry really operates. Now their beef with Jay is turning up the heat. M's even been slipping in cryptic bars about some major power players pulling strings behind the scenes. Beyonce's catching heat too. People are accusing her of snatching songwriting credits that weren't hers, and there's talk she's been blocking other female stars from shining, including Aaliyah, Maya, Mary, and Carrie Hilson. These aren't just rumors. They're coming from folks who've been around the game. And let's not forget the Diddy connection. Jay and Bey's tight relationship with him is raising even more eyebrows.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
Jay-Z may have slid past that Jane Doe lawsuit, but now the alleged victim is hinting that she got pressured into staying quiet after some sketchy people allegedly showed up at her home. That's the kind of stuff you only hear in movies. With all these accusations circling the Carters, people are starting to wonder, are Jay-Z and Beyonce really untouchable, or have they just mastered the art of making everything disappear? 50 and M might be sitting on secrets that could shake the whole game. For the longest time, Jay-Z and Beyonce were treated like royalty in the music world, untouchable and unstoppable. Anyone who spoke out against them instantly labeled a jealous hater. But that flawless image is starting to crack, and the ones leading the charge, none other than 50 Cent and Eminem. Let's kick it off with 50. He's once again putting Jay-Z on blast, calling him insecure, jealous, and straight up petty. And this ain't just talk, he's coming with receipts.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man.
Yes.
I mean, look, if you look at his career,
Wow.
This guy.
Oh, wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
he had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he didn't show up.
He had like 20 now.
Oh, Lord.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
He was at the same time. He's like drinking. His pictures with him. It's the cup.
Wait a minute.
So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no
marriage.
longer viewed as like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got.
Oh, wow. So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Back in 2023, 50 claimed that Jay used his NFL connects to try and block him from performing at the Super Bowl. But Jay's little scheme flopped hard because Eminem said he wouldn't hit the stage unless 50 was part of the show too. Fast forward to 50's interview on Talk with Flea featuring Cameron, he doubled down. He said Jay's still playing dirty, not just in music, but in business moves too. What's wild is that 50 pointed out Jay has already done it all. He's got nothing left to prove, yet he's allegedly still out here trying to block 50's deals out of straight up spite. And it doesn't stop there.
When you're not competing for those things anymore, you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem is. That's what went through with Joe.
50 and M are teaming up to call out the Carters for allegedly rigging the Grammys. 50 even went as far as saying Jay is using his marriage to Beyonce as a power play to grab awards they didn't earn. Eminem's been calling out the Grammys for years, saying it's all rigged and runs on backroom deals. And now that Beyonce finally snagged Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, not everyone's buying that it was a clean win.
Consider, joining the board and maybe you have a vote in it?
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. This got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. It ain't about always what you sell. I get that, Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to Lada Dottie. Who? Lada Dottie. Sound like Lada Dottie.
A lot of folks think Jay-Z made it happen behind the scenes, especially after that speech he gave at last year's Grammys, where he blasted the Recording Academy for constantly snubbing Beyonce. But let's be real. Jay's speech rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He was up there accepting a Grammy while dragging the very people handing it to him.
Trey Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell it.
Fans were like, if you really think the Grammys are biased, why are you still showing up and begging for their respect? If you're gonna call them out, why not just walk away from it all? The whole moment felt off, and it added more gas to the claims that Jay and Bey have been using their power to buy, pressure, and climb their way to the top.
A few Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? And that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
Which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now.
Industry insiders have been whispering for years that these awards are more about politics than talent. And Eminem's been the loudest voice in the room. He straight up called the Grammys a scam and even vowed never to attend again. What really ticks Eminem off is how the Grammys keep playing him for promo.
Watch 50, same. 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had. And then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever. I'm fine if I lose to Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't get us all here to use your selling point for your show and stiff everybody every single time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I go to the.
They hype him up like he's a serious contender, just to get people tuning in, then completely shut him out when it's time to hand out the trophies. When someone asked if he'd ever go back if he had a say in the voting, Em didn't hold back. He said it wouldn't matter. According to him, the whole thing's rigged from top to bottom and the votes are just for show. And 50, he's right there with him, calling out the Recording Academy too. But he took it a step further. He didn't just say the awards are rigged. He said straight up that Jay-Z's Grammy wins are more about being married to Beyonce than actual talent. According to 50, the Academy knows exactly what they're doing. As long as Jay and Bey show up, the ratings go through the roof, so they keep throwing them nominations and trophies just to keep that spotlight shining on them. But 50 wasn't done yet. On his recent stop at the Flagrant podcast, he went all in, doubling down on his claim that Jay-Z's Grammy Haul and massive success ain't just about talent.
Started to receive the 16 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them the things they would. Later, to me, I didn't care about trophies. I said, I'll get the
It's mostly tied to his marriage to Beyonce. 50 even called their relationship a contract, hinting that the power couple might just be staying together to keep their empire looking strong. And 50's not the only one throwing shade. Industry insiders have been whispering for years that Jay and Bey allegedly held back other rising artists, just so no one could outshine them. That's a wild move if true, but a lot of folks in the game believe it. Then there's the story of Beyonce's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, who sadly passed from pneumonia not long ago. Before his death, he made headlines by saying he had solid proof that Jay and Bey were out here sabotaging careers and ruining lives to climb their way to the top.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Hey, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about it.
And we can't leave out Jaguar Wright, former background singer for Jay-Z and probably his most fearless critic. Jaguars dropped bombshells claiming that multiple people close to Jay, including Harlem rap legend Big L, either mysteriously lost their lives or had their careers wiped out, just so Jay could rise higher in the industry.
The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay-Z, he didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as the that was with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you.
Rest in peace, Big L.
Rest in peace, Big L.
One of the
That was the
dopest.
sensei.
One of the dopest. Yes.
Big L was who put Jay-Z on.
Without question.
And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay-Z.
Let's take a moment to talk about Big L, one of Harlem's coldest underground lyricists back in the early 90s. His freestyles were legendary, and he was quickly rising through the ranks. He locked in a deal with Columbia Records and dropped a strong debut, but after parting ways with the label, he didn't fold. He went independent and launched his own imprint. That's when he caught the attention of Dame Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller Records. Big L was on the verge of something major. But then tragedy struck. On February 15th, 1999, Big L was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Harlem, and all these years later, his murder is still unsolved. But Jaguar Wright's not keeping quiet. She's pointed fingers and hinted that Jay-Z might have had a hand in it. She even said, "See how good I keep secrets, Sean?" Calling Jay by his real name.
Everybody about Big L, Sean.
Big L?
I would just rather do it on the stand, Sean. Please sue me. I want to go to court. And I want to talk about Big L on the stand.
Wow.
He was the one that put Jay-Z on. Jay-Z was the last person to see Big L alive. His death made it possible for Reasonable Doubt to live.
Whoa.
See how good I keep secrets, Sean?
That's some heavy talk. And then there's DMX, another rap icon who wasn't scared to take shots at Jay. Just like 50 Cent, DMX saw Jay as bitter and jealous. Back in 2004, when Jay-Z took over as president of Def Jam, DMX had already delivered 5 back-to-back #1 albums for the label from '98 to '03.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again. Okay.
But when it came time to drop his 6th album, Year of the Dog, again, DMX said Jay-Z purposely stalled the release just to clear the way for his own comeback. But that ain't where it ends. In 2005, DMX dropped a track called The Industry, where he pulled the curtain back and exposed how shady the music game really is.
The game is bullshit, man. The game is bullshit. If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. You know what? Listen to a song I called The Industry. And that pretty much explains, you know what I'm saying, what it's about. The industry. Man, it's not the same. The industry, it's not a game. The industry, real is dying to get in the industry just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that, but I'm going to dress like this and talk with the gap.
And the crazy part, a lot of what he called out back then is still happening now. And get this, before his passing, Irv Gotti came out and said Jay-Z was straight up jealous of DMX. Irv claimed that Jay and his mentor, Liar Cohen, used to sit around laughing at X, thinking he'd never blow up. But DMX proved them all wrong, until things got messy behind the scenes. It's not just DMX who felt the pressure. Beanie Siegel had a similar story. He spoke out and said there were moves happening behind closed doors that held him back from hitting the next level in his career.
I don't think one man could destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like, why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe, or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top of me. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe. But
one major red flag, Jay-Z reportedly kept dropping his own albums right around the same time as Beanie's, making sure Beanie never had a real shot at chart dominance. Now let's be real. We can't leave Beyonce out of this convo. Some folks love to act like she's just being controlled by Jay-Z, but come on. There's no way she stuck around all these years if they weren't both moving the same way behind the scenes. Word is, they share a common playbook when it comes to eliminating anyone they see as a threat. Take this, for example. When Beyonce split from Destiny's Child and started dating Jay, rumors started flying that Jay pulled producer Rich Harrison away from rising singer Amiri, who was seen as serious competition for Bey. And if you remember Amiri's hit One Thing, it had that same high energy sound as Crazy in Love, almost like it was the original blueprint. Then you've got Carrie Hilson, who had a messy situation with Beyonce after her own producers reportedly tricked her into recording what sounded like a diss track aimed at Bey. Carrie said it wasn't meant as shade, but later refused to hold up a magazine with Beyonce and Jay on the cover, and that lit everything up. After that, the Beyhive came hard, attacking Carrie nonstop online and even physically in the streets, according to some reports.
Where you been, A-Marie?
I've been out in the universe somewhere.
No, Talk about your career. Everybody always says A-Marie should have been a superstar. Because she's pretty, she could dance, she could sing. What happened?
What do you think? Know what it is? It's timing. Like, everything is timing. Like, I'm a big believer in time.
But here's where it gets wild. There were rumors swirling that Beyonce herself was pulling strings behind the scenes. Some sources even claimed she helped orchestrate that setup, getting Carrie's own people to sabotage her, while Beyonce stood back and played the innocent one. Even Carrie Hilson herself kind of confirmed the shady setup during a 2020 interview. She admitted she was pressured into dropping that track and said the fallout was no joke. She got hit with real threats after it dropped. That drama nearly ended her career. But let's not forget about Kelly's either. She called out Beyonce directly for sampling her hit song Milkshake without giving her any credit. Kelly said she had no clue the sample was even used until she saw it all over social media, just like everybody else. She was shocked and called it straight up disrespectful. In her words, "I heard about this the same way everyone else did." Then she posted, "Nothing is ever as it seems." Some of the people in this business have no soul or integrity, and they have everyone fooled. That's a heavy statement coming from someone who's been deep in the industry. Kellis didn't stop there. She went on Instagram and explained exactly why she felt so hurt. She said, "Not only are we black female artists in an industry where there's not that many of us, we've met. We know each other. We have mutual friends." And then she dropped the real line. "It's not that hard to contact me. It's just common decency." So how did Beyonce respond? She didn't. Instead of owning up or saying a word, she quietly removed the sample, but never addressed Kellis's claims or offered an apology. And then there's Mia, who was allegedly blackballed from the industry after she reportedly turned down Jay-Z's advances. Mia spoke on it carefully, saying people in power often use it in a harmful way, and it makes the music world a dangerous place for young artists just trying to make it. Most artists chasing success don't even realize what they're giving up until it's too late. And when Mia was asked how she managed to dodge all that toxic energy in the industry, she kept it simple. She just said no and walked away. But even that came with a price. She later hinted that turning down the wrong people might have been exactly why she got blackballed and dragged through the mud. So when you look at all these stories, from 50 Cent and Eminem to Kellis, Carrie Hilson, Amory, Maya, and more, it paints a picture that's hard to ignore. A lot of artists believe Jay-Z and Beyonce may have allegedly played a role in stalling or sabotaging their careers. And this still isn't even the full list. But what do you think? Are these just bitter artists looking for attention, or is there real truth behind all these claims? And who else do you think might have been pushed out of the spotlight by the Carters? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives like this. See you in the next one.